here. I Yeah,
recording
I
in
just
progress.
started doing these things with putting them on YouTube and everything. And I'm
Uh-huh.
watching some of my stuff. I definitely need practice, but the thing is that I'm just gonna keep plugging away. I'm not exactly the best interviewer or the best discussion conversationalist in the world, especially on record. But I'm gonna keep plugging away, and then hopefully hopefully I'll do you justice, and we'll have something decent, a decent conversation here, to something worth recording.
How about we do justice to each other?
There you go. Exactly. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so glad that we had this opportunity. I know
Me too.
Giselle is a treasure to me, and
She is. Ah. Do you know when did you meet her? Because I mean, honestly, I've known her for about 10 days. Do you know what I mean? And it's been a massive click. Like, wow, where does that one come from? She's
oh,
awesome.
oh yes. I mean, I don't know if she actually comes from a place, because I don't know of anyone. I don't know of anyone else like her. So I don't know who could have produced her. But yeah, I've known her. Well, I've been watching her links and stuff now for probably a year at least now.
Okay.
And but I actually got to meet her. We interviewed probably 2 months ago, and
Okay.
that was the first time I met her, and face to face. And she was just a breath of fresh air. She was just
She
such a,
is.
yeah,
She is.
definitely, yeah.
She wildly free. Wildly free. It's just yeah. There's no words. There are really no words. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something akin to oh God, I don't you know I would say almost I almost envy, the way she thinks, and the way she's
Right.
presenting herself. I mean, it's amazing how free she is and beautiful, and I love the way she just goes into any kind of subject with
Yeah.
gusto.
Yeah, it's amazing. And that's the amazing thing about being free, for lack of a better word. It's just, per definition, you're free. Who cares what you don't second guess. You can second guess yourself, but not really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, well, who cares? It's all good, because it truly is all fucking good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is. And that's the beauty of but the word I personally use would be to be awake, or enlightenment, again, for lack of a better word, because God described the indescribable.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. It really is. It really is.
Sandeep was telling me to kind of saying the same thing you're saying. It's when I asked him if I could record this, Sandeep said, "Well, yeah, I don't mind that at all, but what we say between us here now in this conversation really is irrelevant to any other position. What I say to you now has absolutely no bearing on what I might say to anybody else at another time." So
that's the thing, because just whatever you want to talk about is truth always. It's a simple realization, but it changes every fucking thing. Like and of course it changes nothing at the same time, because you've always known, but this time it's just boom, that's it. You've always known, but this time and that's the whole, the very idea of conditioning is bound, if it doesn't drop straight away, it's bound to drop. That's the thing, it's bound to drop, because once you've realized the truth of who you are, that's it. And of course you say you I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know is the only thing we can know, simultaneously.
Simultaneously, yeah, amazing. I had a look at your I've been stalking your Facebook. No, that's not true. I had a look at a few posts. there was this beautiful image of a forest, and I don't know where anymore. And you're writing. That's your writing, is it?
Yes.
Oh my
Always.
God.
Really?
It's yeah. It's very poetic. You know, it's very poetic.
Well, thank you so much.
My humble opinion, you know, but it's you know, you talk to someone and you know they know that they don't know, but they know. You know?
Yeah.
It's the feeling I got. It's the feeling. It's not even a feeling. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah, okay. I'm gonna like that guy.
Man, that's it. I mean, really, truly, I've been watching some of the stuff that I'm putting out on YouTube, and you know, it's so different. The going from Facebook, which I've been doing for probably 10 years now, to going to doing
YouTube,
doing live stuff, you know, just speaking to people. And I've been watching some of the stuff that I've been linking on YouTube, that I finally got the YouTube page set up and everything. Yay! And coming out of the gate, I'm stammering over myself all the time. I keep repeating myself, and I'm saying, oh my gosh, I need practice. I mean, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I'm just gonna keep doing it, and hopefully I'll get better at the order narrator.
Do you see that? That's the thing for me, is you say you need practice. Now, well, I completely hear what you're saying, all right?
Yeah.
Do you though? Do you know what I mean? Not really. It's just you do or you don't, and you do. And I mean, don't misunderstand. If I look at some of my first stuff, I'm like, I've got to erase that.
Exactly.
but in the end, it talks to whomever it talks to always. You know, that's how I see it anyway. And of course, there's some things I used to say before. I'm like, my God, if I want to point to truth, because that's what I do. I really point to truth, and I mean, I guess we all do in a way. Do you know what I'm saying? But I do it in a sense. I talk to the seeker who's had enough of seeking. Not the one who's starting. I mean, it might work as well, but it's very, and pointing to this. It's, how can I say? Here's when I woke up again, for lack of a better, who woke up, right? But for lack of a better word,
absolutely speak freely on that, because I'm not gonna be the Nazi. Go ahead, woke up and use whatever word you like. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's me speaking freely here. It's how could it be different?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I woke up, the realization that came straight away was, it's so freaking amazingly simple, and with that I thought, because I thought when I woke up, I felt like that's it. I want to point people through that, and I know I can just. I didn't know how. I still don't know how. Do. Do you know what I mean? Just do.
Yeah.
But the realization was just, it's so simple. If I point it in any so-called complicated way, elaborate way, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But of course, that talks only to the one who's able to hear. Now everyone hears. Like I'm talking to you now, you hear. You're talking to me, I hear. You know?
Yes.
But and that's the message cannot, in the way I see it. All right, it can if you want to vehicle this, it cannot be put into. You can use so-called complicated words, but not in a complicated way. It's just it's just. This is it. I mean, the easiest way to say is this is it. Now, of course, if you said this is it, like this is what, and you know that's actually a perfect answer. This is what, but I don't know. Do you? No, I don't. But I know. Yes, that's it. Yeah, and boom, you.
Hang on 1 second, brother.
Sure.
Hey, 1 second, brother. Your volume cut out on me.
Oh, okay.
Did you mute yourself?
Do you hear me?
1 second.
Yeah.
Hang on. Issues, always the technical issues. Hang on 1 second. It's always, oh my God.
All right, let's do it in the dark.
Let me go here. always the technical issues here. I go back here. Here. Okay. All right.
Hey, mush mush. Yeah, don't look at me.
Are you there?
I'm here.
What in the heck is going on now? I have no volume.
You have no volume. I do hear you, Howard.
Cancel. Man, there is something. My alarm
okay.
went. Can you hear me?
I do hear you. I do hear you. Yeah.
My alarm went off, and suddenly I'm muted. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. Oh my God.
You all right?
Unbelievable. Okay. This.
Take your time, mate.
Here. Still, I'm not getting.
Okay.
Are you there?
I am here. Are you there?
Yes, I had to stop the recording and then restart it in order to. Sorry, but it's always, that's the beautiful thing about this stuff too, is that you're your own technician as you go,
Oh my God. I keep thinking I need people to work for me to do the admin stuff because I don't understand shit.
I'm telling you, I just start pushing buttons. What were you speaking about? I'm sorry, because you were going on such and that's the horrible thing too. You were going on such a great rant there.
I have no idea. No, yeah, I was just saying because the easiest, there's no the easiest, right? But there's you say this is it and this is it, like this is. But of course, if you say that to someone who's not awake, all right, then it goes, your mind goes, this is it, what exactly? You know what I mean? And and the mind straight away starts to you try to understand what literally cannot be understood. Right. And that's what I always say to people, do you see that you're doing this? And like, oh yeah, okay. And say, and you see, that's why you try to understand this, because you don't. Yes, I'm not sure what you're saying, but yes, look, you're listening. Yes, I'm listening. So you hear. Well, yeah, I hear, but you hear, so you're not trying to understand. No, I'm not. What you're saying here, but and you know what I mean, and then you get the person to listen. To listen, to really listen. When I say listen, it's just your mind is suddenly quieter. To listeners anyway, it's quieter. And because of course this is it, and there is nothing to understand about it. So long as you try to understand it, you don't know it. I mean, I don't know it either, but I know that.
Yes. It's beautiful. And see, and as soon as you start talking about it, it complicates. It makes it way more complicated than it is. This is it. If you and just like you said, the first thing you think is, or the mind would think is, well, what is this? Well, this isn't this. It's not a this. It's not an it.
It's precisely. It's not an it. It's not an it. And it's who you are. But what I think, no, not what you think. What you think is what you think. Yes, it's not who you are. No, it's what you think. Yes, it's what you think. but that's literally how I operate with people, and it's amazing to see. You see that's what I love is to see someone waking up. And of course, there's the whole mind going blind, this and that, and then you can start arguing, and of course this happens too, and then this always bring back to the fact that this very arguing is the trying to understand, and this trying to understand is because you don't understand, but you don't understand because you can't.
Yeah I had to one thing I had I had written a post a couple years back, I think it was, and it said no one has ever seen a lotus flower bloom, and and what I meant by that was you know, it's just like what we're talking about, watching someone awaken. Well, there's
Yeah,
no one here and there's no one awakening, right?
I love
So
it.
no one's ever actually seen it happen. It just happens. It's so beautiful, you know.
Exactly. It is. It really is, and it's I don't know. It's look, I don't know.
And that's
That's it. It's just amazing, but amazing in the most simple way. And it's because the amazing thing is what we're doing now is we're talking about it, which can't be done. You can't talk about it, but still we're doing it. It's a complete mind fuck. So of course, at some point, the mind has to drop the idea of trying to understand, and then you go.
right.
And because that's freedom, if you stop trying to understand, then everything is freaking perfect.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always perfect.
Yes.
Not in the idea of perfection, obviously. It just is perfect. It just is. It's life.
It's already
It's life. It's like, what else do you want? I say to people sometimes, you know, like, what is better than life? Chocolates. Yes, sure. That's part of life.
Chocolate's a good one, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's yeah. But it's I think it's, you know, it's really good what seems to be, well, what I seem to see anyway. I don't know what you think of that, Howard, but it's with COVID and everything, it seems to me that there's a few people have properly woken up and actually want to share this. Do you know what I mean? And it's like there's a new generation of, I would never say masters, I would never say teachers, I would never say, you know, but you know what I mean? There's a new of pointers, of helpers, call it however you like, you know, of messengers, whatever. And again, none of these words are, some people tell me, oh, you're a teacher. I'm like, F off. I'm not a teacher. But of course I hear what they're saying. Do you know what I mean? Of course I hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I think it's very good because, see, I always say I've got this dream, which is to live in an awakened world. Now, don't misunderstand. I ultimately, all I want is just to speak because I love to speak and I just love to vehicle this. That's it. But when you're awake, how could you not wish it on anybody else? Do you know what I mean? How could you not? It's. And so I think I don't know what you think of that, but I do think that there's a lot more people through COVID that actually, there's like a new generation of pointers. That's why I say pointers, basically.
Yeah.
And interviewers.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's absolutely like that. I you know, I equate it to some of the stuff that came out, you know, all the way up until the internet. You have the books and you know, the better known people and the not so well known people, all the way throughout the appearance of history. And you know, the thing is that if you get a master from thousands of years ago who said all these profound things, in the end, if he was here now or she was here now speaking to us, okay,
Yeah.
she would be just another human being. He would be just another human being, as the appearance of as we are. And you know, it's funny because you know, everybody's, you know, all the teachers throughout history will say that, you know, I mean, if we were having dinner, if we lived in the same village, or if we, you know, if we lived every day together side by side, you would see that I'm just another person, you know, there's no difference here. No. But it's you know, paradoxically, the thing is that you know, it's absolutely ordinary, but it's not like you get on a magic carpet and fly away. It's absolutely ordinary, but at the same time, it's like you said, it's so amazing. It's beyond expression, you know, and it's literally awe-inspiring. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I say God, you know, I don't mean, I'm not a God guy,
I get you.
but
I get you.
I'm not a God guy. But yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
And all the different orders, all the different speakers, you know, with all the different personalities and the different
Yeah.
infighting and all that stuff. It's just, or agreeing and all the beautiful stuff that's going on. It's all very much the same, but only sped up quite a bit, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like now we can talk to each other from across the world, whereas before, any kind of, you know, discussion, or
Yeah.
anybody asking anybody else a question, it could take years to
Yeah.
correspond, and now it's just so instantaneous. It's amazing.
It's really is amazing, and it's, which is why I think, you know, the world is waking up. It's not possible that it's not. Like you are truth, okay? Truth is who you are. So of course, truth wants to recognize itself as such, basically. So of course, even killers, even rapers, even, you know, the worst kind of actions an individual, so-called individual, can take is bound to lead everybody to truth, because there is truly only truth. What else? And that's it. And I know I'm using pure logic here, but
Yeah.
I can't be convinced otherwise. I just can't. You hear what I'm saying?
Well,
It's
I agree with you, because you can use any word you like, because in the absence of false, you know, what can you call truth? I mean, what is truth without false? So you literally, you can call it whatever you want. You know, but it is what it is, and at the same time, we can't share that. But here it is, we are that.
yeah,
You know, we
we
can't
are that.
share it, but we are it
We are
simultaneously.
that. But you see, we can't share it, but
Right,
that's why, how can I say, you can't, no, you can't share it, but you
right.
can point to it. You can point to it. And the see, the way I do things, because you see, I've tried, how can I say, my whole life, so way before I woke up, I think I've been a seeker for as long as I can remember. From I think 7, 8 years old, I was raped, actually. I was raped, and it's like during that, when that happened, right?
Yeah,
It's like I was, as an experience, it's like I couldn't stand it. It's the way I remember it now. I couldn't stand it. So it's like I could suddenly see my body with what happened anyway, but I realized right then that none of that was me. Now,
yeah,
of course, being 8 years old, I didn't grasp what that was. All right, and that's why I think that's why it's started me on the proper hard seeking so-called path. There is no path, but go figure, right? and
right.
and always trying to be loved, to be understood, to understand people, to and at the same time always knowing something which I didn't know what it was, right? But because I didn't know what it was, of course you seek, following what I'm saying, of course. And anyway, so I did many things, but it's actually hard to remember. That's a funny thing. It's hard to remember how it was before, if that makes sense. It's hard.
Yes, absolutely.
But because why would you think of pain, so-called, you know, of suffering?
Yeah, I woke up when I was 8. On my it was I was 8 years old, and it was my very first prayer I ever made, which is the weirdest things. I hadn't thought about it until somebody asked me specifically, and it took me a few months to realize, wow, that was my first prayer. I woke
Uh-huh.
up on my very first prayer, but it was but I knew right away it wasn't a deity. I mean, it's not a
Right.
god. It's not, you know, it's
No.
nothing like that. So ageism, as far as, you know,
Wow.
the message I caught, you know, or one of the many things that, you know, that paradox presented was, you know, children fight wars. Children,
Yeah.
you know, children are kings and queens.
Uh-huh.
They're born royal. You know, they're born to lead. Some
Uh-huh.
of them do it poorly. Some of them do it Some of them doing well. Some of them are warriors. Some of them are poets. Just children are way, way overlooked. I mean, as far as potency and the ability to absorb, what appears to be this reality, because people look at like almost like a like let's say somebody who has a physical disability or a speech impediment or something like that. People think, they look at them and they think, oh, that person is disabled and has no capacity to understand what I'm saying. But within that person's that locked cell of a body, whether it be a child or whether it be somebody that is not looked at as properly mature or for whatever reason, they're locked into that body, and you're projecting your idea of what is ready or what is true or what is right or what is wrong on that individual, simply because they don't fit what seems to be your idea of what is ready or not ready. And that was one thing that I got. I was like, man, I'm 8 years old. I mean, this is too much. And and that was the feeling I got. It was like, no, babies are born kings and queens and warriors and poets and princes and everything in between. You can be all of that immediately upon your birth. And and that's, and it's truly amazing. The pain that children go through is not diminished because they're children, and just like the exalting beauty. So that's how I think about it. Yeah.
Completely. It's wow. You've brought me back there for a second. Completely. It's beautifully said. I completely agree. And but you see, for me, because what happened after, because I wasn't awake then. Do you know what I mean? It was just a glimpse, and then the whole hard, long seeking road starting and would not stop. But I would have always this knack to try and help people. I didn't know how. I was just and what always happened is that people would always flock around me, not like thousands. You hear what I'm saying? But just whenever they would have a so-called issue on this and that, would come to Maxx. And Maxx, what would Maxx do is, I'm a therapist, right? So, do you know what I mean? I'm a therapist. So, of course, that doesn't work as such until you wake up to the truth that is the therapy is the suffering, is the trying to understand, is the very reason why you think you're stuck. You're not. It's that whole. But anyway. So I stayed stuck there for so long. But at the same time, it's always been my, like you say, princesses, or you're born as a body. I always call it the body laptop. Makes sense? The body laptop. As a body laptop, you're a computer with legs. Or whatever.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
But as a computer with legs, you are completely unique. There's no one like you. Literally no one like you. Of course, who you are is who I am, etc. But you don't know that yet. But the truth is, you're completely unique, and we're gonna start comparing with others for whatever reason. Okay, well, simply because we think there is this me here. There isn't, but is this me that must be better or worse than this you, right? And it's a whole. But we're all vehicles as a body laptop of truth, interpreter of it. That's it. And in that way, I'm completely, that's why I'm saying I completely agree with what you're saying, because we're born princesses or this or that and everything in between. And that's one true, unique expression of truth is your gift. It's so-called gift. You hear what I'm saying? There's nothing special, and at the same time, it's very special. And it took me. I'm 34 now, so I'm quite young, but it took me 32 years to acknowledge that gift, which is to transmit this truth because some people wake up and they just don't want to, and it's fine. It's just what this so-called character likes to do on the spur of the moment, and that's it. Because I have no idea in 2 years or tomorrow. You know what I mean? If there's such a thing tomorrow, anyway. But that's this thing, this gift it's always been my driving to go and say, look, it's freaking simple. That's it. It's freaking simple, and it's the so-called magic happening through words. As far as I'm concerned, through words. That's why I'm saying you try to understand, but there's your words. Okay, so the words you use, whomever, are truth on the spur of the moment only, always.
Yeah.
Whatever you said before, if I say no, I'm saying it's true right now. But if I say no, it's not true anymore, well, of course, now it's not true anymore, because this now it's not true anymore that I'm saying is true right now, etc., etc. And it's so freaking obvious if you get that. You're like, hold on, the implication is, so this idea of a search, what are you looking for? It's always here. It's always here. It's always here. And then you go this again, the simplicity of, it can't be complicated. It's not. It's never been. Life isn't.
Right. And in that, I completely agree. And in that, the lack of foundation for a self, what appears is an individual, the appearance of an appearance, and it's almost like appearances keeping up appearances. After all, I mean, because we know that we don't exist individually, and that, but uniquely we are the appearance of individuals, and in that paradox comes the beauty of sharing a message about the lack of individuality. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's truly amazing. Yes. And then I think it was Alan Watts who said, the oddest thing, and I don't, Alan Watts, he was saying that he never had, he never had an awakening or anything like that. He had an epiphany, or whatever they call that. I forget at the moment, but he was saying that the oddest thing is that some people get it, and or the appearance of a person gets it and goes right back to their life, and they see, oh yeah. And that was the oddest thing to me, was meeting people that understood what I was saying and said, oh yeah, and just shrugged and kept on going, like it mattered not. And I was like, that's interesting, and then the next thing I know, and then there are other people that get it, and they change their entire life. It changes everything, and they go off and to go to a cave to be alone forever. And then there's the ones that decide they want to teach, or they want to try to share it.
You see, for me, that's the interesting thing, because the ones who get it, and then like basically, so what? Then you don't get it, because it's not so what. It's freaking amazing. And for me, that's why I say it's like, you see it, no doubt you've seen it. It's like, oh yeah, okay, sure, you get it. But then it's dismissed somehow because of I don't know, beliefs that there must be something else, that that's what I'm doing is better. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just what it is, okay? But that for me, that remains a search, or if not a search, you will remain in a level of suffering there. So that's why I think the search, no matter how inexistent, is important for you to really, at some point, that's it.
Yes.
And that's it. There's nothing to be done. Life continues indeed. And I don't know if it's the Buddha or whomever said that basically, before awakening, I was I don't know, working in the field, and after awakening, I'm working in the field. Of course, in that way, sure. But for me, it's more in the sense that who you are is who you are.
Yes.
You do, you don't. You think, you don't. You. But it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
And truly, I mean, for me, it's one of those things that I immediately because because my switch was so young, I never really did seek. But I've been spending my life trying to figure out how to share this thing, and
Interesting.
I've
Okay.
never been able to, yes, but I didn't know what non-duality meant until maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I was like, well, what exactly does non-duality mean? Because I've been going at it through science and spirituality and any way I could muster up to try to tell people, that immediate experience
Huh.
was the only thing that could be experienced. It's not really a you. This isn't real, and we don't
Yeah.
exist. This is not a dimension, and stuff like that. And any way I could, I read all kinds of different things, and I looked at it from all kinds of different angles, um, just to learn how to communicate, paradoxically speaking. And the thing about it is it wasn't until a few years back, I think, Nancy Neithercut. Uh, I She was the intro to non-duality. I had heard it before, but I'd never really, the Indian thing and all of that. It never really stuck. And then finally, somebody said "not to," and I was like, oh, duh, not to. It occurred to me. I was like, oh my! And then I realized that all this stuff that I had been overlooking for so long, for so many decades, I'm like, oh, it was such like one of those just like duh moments where I just,
Yeah.
oh, not to, duh. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was beautiful. But I tried to use science or spirituality or anything like that to try to
Yeah.
communicate what I was saying. But it was all for naught, most of the time. But then again, in
Ooh.
the end, it is what it is. I
It,
mean,
it, 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 it is what it is. It is. And
yeah.
because it's in the end, it's always the same realization. But for me, the end is that there is no need for realization anymore because you have fucking realized it. And then whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and I mean, of course, it's always been the case anyway. But but again, this time. But I'm gonna play a reverse role if you don't mind for a second. I'm gonna
Sure.
play the interviewer for a second because it really intrigues me. What's driving you to interview people, for example? What's
Well, I really don't even know. I don't. I don't even know. I really, truly don't know why I am this way. I have no idea. Um,
Okay.
but I do love it. I've always loved talking to people. I mean, I've always seen life as kind of as a game, it's a playground, like
Okay.
Giselle would say. It's a
Yeah,
game. It's not real.
it
And
is.
all through my life, I've gone through these, the story of my life, um, which of course is completely illusory. But it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing
yeah,
is that within this illusory memory and all of the consciousness and all this stuff, it's this conglomeration of situations that is going through my head, and I cannot come up with an answer for that, other than people have asked me questions. It appears, I guess, I'm just that way, and people will ask me questions from time to
yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah,
and so I've tried to give them answers in some way, um,
yeah.
always, to varying degrees of success and failure. But I came into some money not too long ago, and I was able to start up a web page and all that stuff. And my friend was giving me heck about it. He was saying, what are you doing that for? Why are you doing these things? And
Uh-huh.
uh, and I said, well, I guess I can now that I'm disabled. So I got disabled about 6 years ago, and I've got time, and I've got a little bit of I had a little extra money, and I figured, why not? I mean, I've got, it's this is what I am. Why not
Uh,
try to share and try to glean as much information as possible? Just I
it,
mean, just talk to people and stuff. It's beautiful.
it's wow. Yeah. It's yeah, yeah. It's the truth of who you are, the truth of who you are. Like that's it. That's it.
I honestly cannot tell you how, any of this has happened or has appeared to happen, or why, this is what it is. I mean, isn't that the hardest thing to do though, is to communicate a lack of a cause,
yeah, because no, but that's what I'm saying. It's the truth of who you are. It's, you see that when because I went into the whole spiritual BS, like also the whole energy healing, and don't get me wrong, there is a level of truth to it. You hear what I'm saying? But sure. it can keep you on the search forever. It did not forever, obviously, but it did for a while with me anyway. But while I was in it, it's because I had this idea of a life mission, this kind of things, And then, of course, I mean, I don't know, you have to, for me, I realized that the BS, the fun of it, but of course, again, you're unique, and the unique expression of truth that your computer with legs is
right. Yeah.
is gonna do what it does, and in that way, it's, of course, we have a so-called mission, but it's not. It doesn't matter. It's all a game. It's all a fucking game. It's all there is. There is no why. There's never been, and there won't ever be.
Exactly. Yeah. There is no why. It's kind of like there's no us here now, but yet at the same time, us here now is what appears to exist in its totality. So it's all, just even thinking about history, thinking about time and space and things of that. The way I used to, and I know I'm horrible at trying to articulate this, but it's a lack of source. That once you see this is the thing that's funny. It's like, once you see sourcelessness, once you see that it comes, that there is no cause and effect, and there is no time or space or dimension or anything like that. What appears is so unexplainable that you can, go to any sandbox you wish to play in, as Giselle would say, but you never lose that understanding that this isn't really happening as it appears. This isn't, it is and it isn't happening. It's happening.
Exactly.
But it doesn't happen as it appears. So
completely, and it's and then you see that leaves space to this beautiful, amazing silence, regardless of how noisy your mind is. Well, the paradox is that, of course, when you know that your mind is completely silent, in the sense that you don't go into the painful story anymore, so all is left is play. Like, that's it. And there's this playground, and it's still a game, but it's a game that you're not trying to win or to lose.
Yes.
You just play. That's it. It's play. Play.
Yeah, well, and there's yes, I agree with that, and there's no why really, or there's no more question. It's almost like wow, it's so impossible to describe, but there's no mind in that. For me, this is my pointer, that there's no brain that is the source of a thought. So most, there's no physical brain that exists in time and space, and so the mind is the projection or the storyteller to the self about a brain. So, and that's the loop that we do. The mind is telling a story about a brain, and consciousness gives it texture and feeling, like as if you are here now in this dimension. You are here now living your life. You were born, you're growing up. This is a physical reality in which you are growing old and you're going to die, and all of these things. It's completely illusionary. It's a complete story. Starting, for me, the pointer being is that you're not really thinking. you know, because you don't have a brain in time and space. It's not you with a will that is, you know, contemplating things. It's the story of that, and that's how beautiful. That this is not a time or a place. You know, it's not a succession of events in a secular fashion. You know, that just kind of happen one after another, culminating in this moment. No, all of that is right here and now, not a time or a place. It's just happening. It's not happening as it appears, but it's happening as the appearance of it. And it's to me, it's just, how can you not want to share that, you know? And to who and to what, you know? It's so beautiful.
Share it to whom?
Yeah.
You truly are a poet. I like it. I like your style.
Well, thank you, and you as well. I really appreciate you, man. I love, you know, some people are very difficult to interview, even if they are awoken, quote unquote. And you're definitely not at all. I think that
cool.
no, I think you're amazing and beautiful, and I'm so grateful that Giselle introduced us. Thank you for being here.
Me too. And maybe we can talk about that later. But I mean, you're starting. I'm starting. You should completely help each other in a way. You know what I mean? I mean, for me, we hit it off. Like that's it. We hit it off, and it's. I think it's. I might be assuming him, but I think Giselle has the idea. It's the impression I have. All right. I didn't discuss that with her, but I think she has the idea of bringing a group of people who are awake, okay, and to just, well, whatever, have fun in the end, you know. And I think that's a fucking brilliant idea. I love it. I love it.
Sure.
It's just and yeah, we should completely. Anyway, we can talk about that later, I guess. I'm not sure if the listeners want to listen to that, but I don't know. Anyway,
I wouldn't worry about that at all. Talk about whatever you like.
But yeah,
I think that's a fascinating topic, actually. I mean, she's. I mean, that's a brilliant topic. I mean, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know how, you know, if that's accurate. But yeah, I mean, that's an amazing endeavor.
It is. It's this crazy dream of grandeur to wanna help the world, but at the same time, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's again truth speaking to truth, and that's it. It's, you see, for me, I use many pointers. Everything is a pointer. What we're doing now is a pointer. It's just, of course, but the way I try and help people. Again, I'm talking to the seeker who has sought for a while, who knows that it's sought for a while. And at some point, it's helping them realize, look, you've been doing this.
Yeah.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
Oh, and if it hits, like, okay, now the question is, do you want to keep doing this or not? And depending on what they say, you know, straight away, like, okay, they need to keep searching. They won't hear what I have to say now. You know what I'm saying? Or not exactly anyway. Or they're like, fuck, I want out. I just don't know how. There you go. And that's the thing for me. What I do is I point them to what they're not. You're not your body. You're not what you think. You're not this. You're not love, because all those people as well. Oh, love and this. Do you know what I mean? You're not the universe. I do that for like an hour and a half, something. You know, telling them a story, which I call the story of who you are. And I show them first what they're not, and then in the end, it's pointing them to the fact, for lack of a better word, that they can only know who they are, but then describing knowing, which has nothing to do with remembering, with your mind, basically, with thinking, with you can't think of who you are, you can't remember who you are, you can't lose who you are, you can't, etc. And asking them questions, they reply by just yes or no. The answer is always no in the end. And the ultimate question is, okay, now if you can't remember who you are, you can't lose who you are, well, do you know who you are? And often they go, well, no. And I'm like, see, here's the thing. How could you not? You did.
Well,
and it's just pointing them to the fact that you can only know who you are, not in the sense that you remember, not in the sense that you use your mind. If you can only know who you are, you never ever try to think of who you are. You know what I'm saying? You never.
yes.
So there is no individual to know. It's never what I mean. You hear what I'm saying? It's just you. What people call knowing, I say you can only know, and once you twig that, you don't try to know anymore. And that, I said, that's the ground. Now let's free your mind. Okay, you know who you are. Good. Are you sure? Yes. And I get the laughter. Okay, good. Get the laughter. Good. Do you know who you are? Okay. Are you what you think? No. I mean, isn't everything else a thought? And I go, first, don't get it. I'm like, well, that's what you think now. It's a thought. Okay. Whatever you think is only what you think. Yes. And then it's helping them realize from all potential angles that their mind struggle with, that is just a fucking thought. And if they get that, they're free. Now, and I do it over sessions, and the way I do it is helping them. I do 4 to 6 sessions, depending on how fast or not they are, okay, on their questions. And between each sessions, I leave 10 days to 2 weeks, so that they can, I do like you, I record the whole thing so that they can listen again. And I have, and pointing them to the fact that when you listen, you hear. It's like when you listen to music. When you listen to music, you don't try to understand the music. No, I don't. It's the same with me. You don't try to, and do you know what I mean? And that's simply works.
Well, yes, and the music plays the band. In the music, I mean, it's not a person. That's the difference between the cause and effect, or the lack of cause and effect. The immediate experience, say, the two of us having this conversation, thought, all of it, essentially, is being played, but by no musician. It's not us, doing something within this dimension. It's literally this being displayed as a dimension and individuals in it. And so, the thought, I think I understand what you're saying, in that you are a thought, and you can't step out of that understanding of, like, the individual thinking cannot leave the thought of self, cannot understand the lack of self, the lack of individual, the lack of objects in time and space. So, and that's kind of where I'm going with the lack of a brain, or the lack of a source, I'll say. The sourcelessness of thought. Thought appears, and you appear with it, to be an individual thinking, but that's not what's happening. There's no source for what appears. And so that foundationless appearance just kind of happens, and without a meaning, reason, rhyme, or purpose. And that is when it truly blooms as what it is, which is thingless. It's sourceless, but it's got no destination. It's got no there's no understanding that can grasp the lack of, the story is the lack of a story. Almost. There is no beginning, middle, and end, or path. So
okay. I really like your style. I really like your style. Yeah. I do it in a bit different way, but it's always fucking. You see, the amazing thing always fucking points to the same. Always.
Yes.
Impossible not to.
So like when you say thought, when you're speaking to an individual, can you expand on that for me? Like, is that kind of what you're saying, that a thought and the individual have to, like, they coexist, paradoxically speaking, within that dream state of an individual that exists in time and space?
Ultimately, that could be an interpretation, but this is not exactly what I'm saying. It's you see, it's much, in a way, simpler. I don't know if it's simpler, different, but it's in the sense, a thought is just a thought. There's nothing else to it. Okay, like literally, exactly. And so the first thing is, okay, there's nothing to understand. You try to understand because you want to understand, but you don't understand because you can't. That's why you try, and it's the trick that you try. So if you're not trying to understand, you're here, like when you're listening to music. All right, you're listening, so you're here, and just, of course, then you hear that again, and your mind naturally quiets down because it's not trying to understand. And once, well, you reach that point, there's no point to reach.
It's all paradoxical.
But then in the end is to, there is an end to that search, because then you realize that this paradox is a paradox, so you stop trying to understand forever. Right. So the whatever thoughts, you can speak about it if you like, no problem, like we're doing now. It's not the issue, but there is no need for it anymore. It just becomes a game. But to elaborate more on the thought thing, is just, if you know who you are, as in you can only know, it's not possible not to know. If you get that as a switch, like, you have that realization of who you are, but then you realize you know who you are. Yes, the only answer is yes. It's not possible not to know. It's not, so there's no individual to know, but it's not possible not to know. And if you get that, it's like, okay, well, everything else is just a thought. And here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying to you. Like, okay, so whatever I've been telling you for the last 2 hours or an hour and a half, whatever, first session, and they go like, yeah, you don't need to remember it. You don't need to remember it to know who you are. Well, no. Well, okay. And all of that is just a thought. Yeah. So you don't need to think of it. No. But guess what? If you think of it again, it's okay, because it's just a thought. And boom, that's what I'm saying. It's just a thought. So the search drops. Of course, the mind will have the people's minds will have a habit of still searching for a while.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean? And they have to.
But until it goes away, because that thought of searching, that very thought, which is just a thought, is already gone.
Right.
Why would it come back? It's gone. It's just a thought, etc., etc. That's the one step. The first step, know who you are. Second is it's just a thought. And then there's the third, basically. Once you get it's just a thought, it doesn't mean you're free necessarily from your conditioning. It helps a lot with everything, okay? But it doesn't mean you're free from your conditioning, because conditioning in a way comes back. And it's very easy to think, oh, but that's just a thought. And then you dismiss the whole message, and there's still suffering. It's just a thought. I don't need to think of it. And you think there's something to do, and this and no. I said, no. Okay, it's just a thought. You get it. Okay. Then it's the idea is to wake up to the fact that conditioning is just as well another thought. It doesn't exist. There is no conditioning, and that way you are totally 100% free from all conditioning. That's it. That's it.
I think for me, the thought, from listening to what you're saying, for me, the thought is synonymous with the self as an individual, in that they go together.
No separation.
Yeah, there's no separation between the self and the thought. So, but that in itself, on that level of mind, is culminated from, I think that the circle goes when the self thinks that the thought arises due to conditioning, in that they exist.
Exactly.
And they both go hand in hand. It's like a self-perpetuating self, image machine, where the thought, I think, therefore I am, like Descartes would say, and that's what, so I'm here, I'm thinking, what do you mean? I'm observing. And that's it. And that thought, and that's where I go with sourcelessness on it. It's like that the thought it's not an illusion that thinking appears to be occurring, but it is the misnomer is that the thought is coming from a source, that you are actually something. and therein lies that self-perpetuating image machine, where I exist and observing other things. So yeah, I
Yeah.
completely, I love what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I my God, we gotta work together, honestly, because I really love what you're saying too. It's you see that, because again, there's not one way, there's many ways to it's just freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate the talk. Thank you very much, Howard. It's really I'm enjoying this very much.
Oh, I am too. Thank you so much. Yes, I actually you know, I learned so much from so many people. It's the well, it appears in this way. I mean, to go beyond concept, or to go beyond the subject object and conceptual, like when you leave that level of mind, the mind, you know, thinks that it's an object and it's looking at something else and processing that whole thing. Well, when you leave that perspective, there are no words to describe that, you know, that lack of self, the lack of subject object, the lack of you know, there's no way to you know, on the level of mind, everything is subjective and conceptual, but even the mind itself is conceptual. I mean, or it's
Yeah,
the appearance
exactly.
of,
What is
you know,
what is the mind? But a word to describe the thinking process. Like, that's it. So like,
right, right. But you know, what I mean to say is that even like concept and subject object are the appearances of a happening, but it's not. But what is,
huh?
paradoxically, what is not is. It's also it's not a subject. It's not an object. It's neither subjective nor objective, and so it's impossible to be conceptual because there really is no mind, and that self-perpetuating, you know, brain mind self, brain mind self, brain mind self, it constantly, you know, reinforcing that idea that there is a conscious being aware of other things around it,
Yeah.
is completely illusionary and impossible to describe that
Yeah.
aspect of the, just this. Then we go back to, well, what is this to you? What is this to me? Well, there is no
Yeah.
you or me, so it's
No. Exactly.
it's impossible.
Exactly. But that's what leads to, well, what I like to call personally the end of suffering, because there really is an end to suffering as a thing. Because then, like, how many times have we smiled and laughed? I mean, I couldn't count even if I tried. You know what I mean? It's just, and that's freedom. Because
So beautiful.
it is amazing, isn't it? It is
It's so
amazing. It
beautiful,
really is
man.
amazing.
It really is. I mean, there's you know, I can't understand the I would like to say that you know, the appearance of a depressed, the depression that comes from some individuals within this appearance, is that you know, I think it comes from the hanging on to the idea that they were ever real in the first place, or that there is a reality. Um, Whereas when it gets to the beautiful aspect, when you realize there never was a reality, there never was a you, there never was, this whole entire thing is just a story about, you know, an individual in time and space. But in fact, it has nothing. It's just appearing that way. And as soon as you let go of any of this having any kind of cause or effect or actuality attached to it, that's when it really truly just blooms and is beautiful to me. I mean, I to
Total
the
freedom.
individual, it's just, I don't, I you know, I can't understand. Um, I think in at least from from here, to be aware of other, to be aware that, you know, or to be depressed about the lack of self and stuff. Um, I think it has something to do with holding on to what appears to be a reality, Once you
Yeah.
lose that tether, you know, what comes from absolutely no, there's no answer for it. And so
No.
once you stop, needing that answer, it's unexplicable. It's
It is.
truly.
It is. It is. It is. It's. And then comes silence because it's
There's,
unexplainable.
what
Then
was that
comes
last thing? I'm
silence.
sorry.
Sorry, I said, that's when comes the amazing, beautiful silence, which is always here anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yes.
because wow, there is nothing to understand, and what is left again but to enjoy everything. I mean, the beauty of it is for me. You see, I was this depressed individual that you're. Well, individual. This depressed appearance before I woke up, and the beauty of it is now I can cry, no problem.
Yeah.
There's no problem with it anymore. It's
Yeah.
there's no sadness. There's no. It's all freaking amazing. It's just. It's why not? Why the fuck not? You know, it's yeah. It's all perfect. Really is.
I've actually cried like on 3 different occasions already doing these things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get to this point where, for whatever reason, I just started tearing up, and I don't know why that happens, or whatever, but it's so overwhelmingly beautiful, that I'll just start tearing up. I'll just start crying, and it's embarrassing. At first I was like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, but I do it. I do it for some reason. I'll just start crying, and but not because I'm depressed or anything. It's because
No,
it's
of
so
course not.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it's so amazing. It's so beautiful that
It really
it
is. It really is.
Yeah.
The need for nothing to do, nothing to be, nothing to. So you are what you. No, it's just.
You can't.
You get me.
It's impossible. It's truly impossible. You can't articulate it. It's so amazing. There's another thing I used to say. What do you think about this? The more an individual is tongue-tied, the closer to the truth they are. The more somebody cannot speak, like you can't get the words out. It's like that is when they're being the most honest. It's like and then that's when somebody is truly, that they're there.
Yeah.
Where there is
like
no
that's
there.
I was talking to a guy not so long ago, a very nice guy, and so he asked me questions basically like he wasn't sure, like, okay, is this guy enlightened or not, because he wanted my help potentially, but sure, okay, no problem. And so he starts with these questions and just whatever I answer. I don't remember what, right? I don't remember what.
Yes,
and at some point he goes, oh man, but you really are there. I was like, I'm where? What do you mean I'm where? Like, no, but you really are there. And it's that realization that it's just, and you could see the in a way the envy, but not in a jealous way or something. It was just like and because you can see the envy in the sense, oh, I wish I was there. And then I just said, but look, you're there as well. You only think you are not. It's a thought. It's not true. You're there already. And of course, his mind then, because it was just a short talk, his mind goes back after. But for a while, he's like, there's a glimpse of, okay, there's this. It may not be that complicated. And it's like, fuck. That this is. Okay, this is.
Oh, I totally get that. It's impossible to articulate accurately, but like, because you can't even talk about an awakening story to the individual that's actually, like, I can't talk about an awakening story. I had an awakening. No, that's incorrect, right? But so now we're talking about two people that actually share a moment that's not a moment. and it's not two people, and it becomes, it's that much more paradoxical to talk about. But but that story of that that realization, you know, and you share that, and I, you know, however you want to say it for the rest of my life, however that, you know, comes across, that is going to resonate with me, because you know, that every time I see that person, you know, they're gonna, you know, we're both gonna look at each other and remember that moment. And that, you know, and however you want to say that is incorrect, because that's not really what's happening. But the story of it is, and it's just, there's no way to talk about it. You know, there's no way to say it. And then, you know, even to look at each other and just to know it, it's completely impossible to articulate.
I think, there's no way to. Sorry. I
No,
didn't mean to
please
interrupt.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
go on.
Please, sir. No.
Sir. I love sir. I'll call you sir too. Sir and sir. I forgot now. No, I'm sorry. I have this bad habit of interrupting people. Because I'm like, oh, I want to say this, and I go, oh, fuck it. No, you know, I forgot.
Well, we were talking about like sharing that moment of like, you know, let's say, there you go.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. So this, because it's not possible to explain it, but it is possible to point to it. Of course, again, hears whomever hears. That's it, and there's no whomever.
Right. Yeah.
But whatever whomever hears. That's it. But truth. That's why I was like, the world is waking up. It's not, and COVID for me is an evidence. There's no evidence, but is a pointer to it, because people are imprisoned in their homes, and some don't give a shit.
Right.
But to most, it impacts them a lot, and then you start to realize you have to review how you live life in those moments. You have to. It's not possible otherwise. And as don't misunderstand, as ugly as I think all what's happening is in that way, don't get me wrong here. I'm, you know, if it could have not happened, great, but it's also a fucking blessing, because people are just hearing, seeing. Stopping the suffering, and maybe they have to go for suffering first, sure, of course, until they realize they never had to.
It's truly, I feel like I got away with something there, which so it's so ironic that I was already, you know, house bound essentially when COVID came along. So when everybody was going through this huge process, I had already been bedridden for years, you know, for like a few years. And people were saying, oh, we can't go out. It's been a month. And I was like, you know, I was like, yeah, I think I can relate, you know. And but the thing is that, you know, so I've gotten away with not having to deal with that. The whole COVID thing to me is completely abstract, and you know, it's because I don't go out, you know, so I don't have to do that. And you know, I didn't have to deal with all of it. And I tried to imagine my own attitude in that situation, and I probably would have been just a beast to deal with, just a pain in the butt. But because I would be like, you know, not being able to work, not being able to play, not being able to you know, it's so bizarre that I didn't have to deal with that. And I tried, I have to just imagine what I would have done, because it would have been difficult, very difficult, for the individual. For me, to not have to not work or play or anything like that. It would have been extremely hard to function as an individual, because you know, it's not like I have a whole lot of money. You know, it's just, you know, so you know, and then, you know, to keep things on like the phone and all of that kind of thing, there's got to be a lot of people that really suffered in ways that I did not have to. So I always try to stay aware of that.
See the beauty of it is for me, the ultimate realization, like there's such a thing, there isn't, but something that's been very freeing is the realization that you don't ever need to do anything.
Yeah.
Ever. You don't. Yeah. And of course, at the same time, you always do. If you think you do, you know what I'm saying? It's but there's nothing, you can actually stay without moving, and it's fine. At some point, your body will say, oh, look, I need to move now, because it's natural for the body to move to some extent, but there's the need to do something in particular, to so-called be fine, feel fine, to not go crazy, call it however you like, is gone.
Yeah.
Is actually gone. So of course you do many things. You know, that's the paradox again. Of course you do many things, but because you do it out of fulfillment and not to fulfill yourself, and that's the whole difference.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But I completely hear what you're saying. It's well, I mean, I can only imagine. For me, I've been lucky enough that, you know, again, I live by the beach. Like literally, I've got the beach 5 minutes away now. I live in Ireland, so
Nice.
It's not like it's right now. It's summer, and you know, it's not particularly warm, you know. But it's, oh my God, COVID, and I could get to see the sea every day. I mean, sure. You know, sure,
I'm
like,
detecting
wow.
French though. Do you have a French accent? Am I?
I am French.
Okay. I'm French German myself. Yes. Yeah.
Irish
Yeah.
is not Irish. No, I'm not.
No. Yeah, you didn't sound Irish.
No. I've been living here for about 2.5 years now with my wife, and lovely. Yeah. Have you been?
No, I've never been. I wish I could though.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the COVID thing like over there? I mean, is there a huge lockdown?
Is there? Sorry.
Is there a huge lockdown with COVID?
Yeah. Well, not anymore. It's opening up again, but it took a while.
Really?
It's been very, very strict from the scratch. Now the actual number of cases have been very, very limited. So they did well, but everyone now is getting crazy from the lockdowns and stuff. So it's like everyone's just. But it's starting to open up again, and most people are getting vaccinated or have been vaccinated. So life comes back. But yeah, it's been. I mean, for me personally, it's like now don't really give a fuck. But
yeah.
But it was palpable. That's definitely. That's for people that it was a hard moment. Yeah.
How is the language? I heard Ireland. There are some very difficult people to understand. The English is it's very heavy accent, and some of the Gaelic dialect is extremely difficult.
Oh, I don't understand a word of Gaelic. I haven't even tried, to be honest. I haven't even tried. I don't. No way. Like, no way. But see, before I moved to Ireland, I already spoke fluently English. And I thought, yeah, sure, man, no problem. I'll adapt to the accent, no problem. You know, I just heard it once or twice, but sure, it will do. And then I go in a pub with noise and everything, and people start to talk to me. Yeah. I don't understand the flying fuck. I'm like, how the hell? I just don't. I mean, now I'm fine, but it really took a while. Now it's fine. It's just, but at first, like, wow, yeah. But
the colloquialisms, just the different, you know, you just got to get used to that kind of stuff. I mean, the different ways people present language. Yeah.
But again, it's the beauty of the no need to learn anything, in the sense that you learn automatically. Always you adapt automatically. It's because I really felt like, fuck, I'm never gonna understand that. Of course, a few months later, it became easier, just naturally. You know, and that's the beauty of life. Like, of life, it's fuck. What is better than life? Like, nothing.
Yeah, that's language. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I want to so bad say the thing that I say so often, but I'll go ahead
Yeah.
and say it. It's like uh, the different languages, the different dialects, and different vocabularies that even we have within our own individual discussions
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
conversations. It's almost like birds chirping in trees, and that's the way I see people talking. When once you get to that space of a foundationless appearance, um, everybody's just chirping in their trees. It's just different birds chirping in trees, and I've always made that simile, but I should probably move on to another one before people get tired of it. But the that's how it appears to me. But Irish in particular, though,
Uh-huh.
I was watching a show on dialect the other day, and they were saying the Irish are extremely difficult to understand
Yeah. Yeah.
from many perspectives. But yeah,
Probably.
even in America, there's so many different dialects within
Mm-hmm.
a region that you can go 10 miles south or 10 miles north, and you're going to get completely different dialects of the English language.
Uh-huh.
It's so amazing. So even within my own area, uh
Uh-huh.
I can talk to people I have no idea how to understand. I can't understand what you're saying. So to move to an entirely different country with an entirely
Yeah.
different language and
No,
that
yeah.
dialect, yeah, my hat's off to you, brother.
Yeah,
Is
no,
it as
yeah.
green as they say it is? Is it as green as they show?
Greener, greener.
Really?
It's amazing. It's one of it's one of the reasons why we moved here. It's because I didn't want to stay in France. My wife's English, and she didn't want to stay in England either. I didn't particularly want to be in England either myself,
Okay.
and she had lived in Ireland, so I said, "Okay, just let's have a vacation there for a week and see what it's like." And I thought, "Okay, yeah, I've always wanted to go there, so sure." And and we went there for a week, and I was astonished. I just fell in love, completely fell in love with the
Really?
country, with the people are also so very friendly. And like for me, where I come from, it's not common that you cross someone in the street and that someone whom you don't know says hi to you. And here they smile and say hi, they start talking. It's like, wow. Even in Dublin as a city, I mean, a bit less, but even in Dublin, but then in towns and everything, it's incredible. It's and without, they just do it, they just, and anyway, but yeah, the it's green everywhere, everywhere. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And the seas, the ocean, everything is just, it really is stunning. It really is stunning. But look, I'm biased, all right. I'm biased,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
it's beautiful.
I mean, I love it. I love that. Because I've always wanted to go to Ireland, actually, and
I'll
I've.
send you pictures if you like. I'll send you pictures of where I live. I'll show you if you
Oh,
like.
please do. Yes, thank you. I saw this thing, a movie once, about the waves of Ireland, and there are some amazing waves in Ireland. I used to surf
Yeah.
in California quite a bit
Oh,
around the
okay.
world. Yeah, and you would not think that Ireland would provide waves, but yeah, there's some great
No,
stuff. Yeah, you got some. Yeah, you're in a great region of the world if you ever
no,
want
yeah,
to learn
I
how to
am.
surf.
Yeah,
You just
I
gotta get
can't
a
complain.
wetsuit.
You do. For the past 3 or 4 weeks, we've been going to to have a swim every day with my wife, and it's like, it's the summer now, and the water is freezing. It's like,
Yeah,
again, you get used to it. You get used to it. But you really, a wetsuit is really welcome. Honestly, it really
yeah,
is.
yeah. I heard that. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
green, yeah, the water is green itself. It's amazing. It's
It's
like
it's it's
emerald.
emerald, different deep shades of blue, obviously, as well, and of gray, because you see, that's the other thing, is people think Ireland, it's very gray. Well, I'm on the east coast, all right, and the east coast is much is well protected compared to the west coast, where
Okay.
from the ocean. But it's like, sure, it's you have 3 seasons in a day. Do you know what I mean? I really have 3 seasons in a day, but
Really?
you also actually do have sun every single day. Even on a very rainy day, there will be at some point where you have sun. So actually, people say, "Oh, it's not sunny." It's not true. It just changes all the time, but it's sunny a few times a day. You know?
Really? So the sun does come out once a day at least.
The sun comes out. I mean, sometimes for the whole day, obviously, you know, but it's really quite sunny. It's really quite sunny. Yeah. Where
I didn't
on
know
the East
that.
Coast, yeah. Where I am, and I mean, it rains a lot as well. Don't get me wrong, okay, but
Right.
it changes all the time. That it would be wrong for me to say that it's not sunny, if that makes sense. It's actually is sunny.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
lovely.
you gotta wear
You're right.
you gotta wear layers of clothes. So you gotta put jackets on and take jackets off all throughout the day, right? Yeah.
Happens sometimes. Yeah, happens sometimes. Yeah, no, it's. I'll send you pictures. I'll send you pictures.
I'm
Where
so grateful.
where are you again in the US?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's
Okay, North Carolina. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. I've been
That's
here
where.
on and off about 30 years or
Okay,
maybe a little longer. Yeah. There's but I was born in California and I've been in many places. I've been in a lot of different places. Uh but I love Charlotte. It's beautiful, it's
yeah.
clean, it's the weather is very mild usually. Um we just have to worry about the occasional hurricane every 10 years or so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's usually at least once a season you can see a hurricane coming across the from from Africa coming across the
Okay.
Atlantic, and it kind of starts off at the top of Central America and then just hooks a right. It goes right up to our area. It goes, we're like a catcher's mitt almost
Yeah.
for for a bowling storm. Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah, I love
wow.
this. I love this area. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah,
Lovely. Really sounds lovely. Really
Max.
sounds lovely.
I'm so glad I met you. There's I've
Me
got
too.
a group meeting that I host every Monday. Uh,
Okay.
Bedside manner with Howard Chance. Uh, but yeah, I start that at 11 o'clock, and I I invite you. I hope that to see you either there or if you ever want to have another discussion. I am so ready to do that, and I would love to talk to you again, sir. Yeah, you're an amazing individual. Thank you so much.
You you see, I haven't had tears yet. You can't see them, but trust me that just thank
Say
you.
what?
It's likewise. Thank you very much. Likewise, I'll definitely come. How do you call it?
It's
Bedside manners.
bedside
Bedside.
manner with
Love it.
Howard Chance. Yeah,
Love it.
I've got
Love
a
it.
group
Yeah.
on Facebook called I don't know, not really group. If you're interested in that, and I've got a web page called Sourcelessness. But do you have anything that you wanted to plug? You were saying that you were talking to different people. Is there a web page or is there a meeting that people can attend?
For me, yeah. So I've got a Facebook group. But I'm changing the name at the moment. But it's basically it's called Words of Magic. Basically,
Hi.
it's called Words of Magic. Your final transformation. But I'm going to change it. I like the your final transformation. But it works. It works. But
Nice.
it really is. You know. I mean, except it's not. But anyway, again, you get me. But so I've got a website, yeah, which is I'll send it over to you, but it's basically words-of-magic.com.
Okay.
And I've got a Facebook page as well and stuff, and a YouTube channel as well, which I've just called it the end of non-duality, and then words of magic. Basically, that's how it's called.
That's beautiful. The end of
So,
non-duality.
you like it?
Yeah, that's I
Thank you.
love it very much. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you. So
And
yeah, what? Yeah.
no, please go
Go
ahead.
on. No, yeah,
Well, I
it's
was gonna
just
say I was gonna say I'm gonna get back with you with Giselle probably on that
please.
message on the messenger thing. And yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna friend you and hook up with that meeting or hook up with your group and everything, and hopefully you'll do the same. And Yeah,
with great pleasure. I've already subscribed to your YouTube channel actually. So there you go. Yeah, no, I'll definitely. Well, just send me all the links, okay? And I'll just say yes.
yeah. And you do the same for me. Send me all the stuff, and I'll yes, and on down the list.
I'll do the same. And yeah, I've got this. I've got this program basically, which is not for you because you don't need it, but for people who are done with basically seeking, who want to be done with it, and basically it wakes them up, and it's basically the technique, so called, that I was telling you about earlier, and it's and that's basically what I do basically. So if anyone's interested in watching, okay, I'm saying it now anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's not for you, sir, because you don't need it. Never.
Well, the cool thing about stuff like that is that when I pick up somebody else's pointer, I can use it in another situation.
Yeah.
So even I watch non-duality speakers all the time, and I try not to steal their stuff too much. But yeah, I learned I love viewing things like that. It's and thank you so much for putting it out.
Yeah,
I love doing stuff like that. So watching non-dual speakers, for me, it's just I for some reason I find it, it's just soothing and relaxing, and
yeah,
I love it very much. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm what was the name of that again?
So what I call that, so it's the service, I call it Words of Magic, Your Final Transformation. That's how I call it, the whole program, okay? But so it's this 4 to 6 sessions on one-to-one, and that's basically how I have people wake up like once and for all, like you're done with the BS that goes through your mind, basically. Like that's it. That's it. And when you're done with the BS, there will only be BS for your mind, but you know it.
Well, I love that, man.
So yeah, and that's I'm just starting. Like I've started about a year ago, but I'm starting marketing it for the past 2.5 months. So it's really starting, and it's happening. So it's like
nice.
it's nice, exactly, nice. Yeah, and I also offer then for those who don't want to take the whole program, I just do basically the one-to-ones, quiet satsang sessions, however you like. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a talk, and I just make sure they listen. They know how to listen.
Yes.
And then they can only hear, and then they're free. Basically, that's basically how it works.
That's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you said that. I just started just a year ago because I I'm saying I just started, and literally the page came out a couple months ago, and really nothing's happened with it. And I don't, it doesn't really, nothing really needs to happen with that. But
no, I hear you.
Yeah,
for me, it's been a lot of lovingly hard work. I put it like this.
Yes.
But it's really starting to pay off. But here's what I always say and believe is basically not believe. It's just knowing. It's just if you're good at what you do, whatever's happening is happening. Yeah. So keep being good, however, but you can't be bad. You're freaking awesome. You really are. So,
I'll take it.
Oh, I mean it. So there you go.
Right back at you, sir. Really,
feel free to use the content on if you want to use it on your YouTube, whatever. Please do it.
Oh, definitely. You're definitely going on the YouTube.
Yay!
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I've got I just started being able to do all that, to and format everything. I'm not really, I haven't really got into the editing aspect of it. So it's just going to go up in its entirety and throughout. And as I go back and go through stuff, I'll edit the edit the finer points of different highlights and stuff, and I'll put that out on Facebook.
That's lovely.
So yeah,
That's
and so yeah, I really love that you said that. I just started a year ago because I just started a couple months ago, and I just got the YouTube thing out, and it's one of those things out of the gate. I'm like, some of the stuff I'm putting out there, I'm like, it's not, it's not what it's never going to be perfect. So I love what you said about that in the beginning of our little discussion here. You said, look, just put it out there, and it'll just progress as it goes.
It does. It's can't, and that's why I'm saying let's I mean it's let's just use us as a group to help each other, to help promote each other, to help, like, sure. If you want, I'm really happy to invite you to my Facebook group, and we do a sort of interview, we talk, whatever, do you know what I mean? Yes. For half an hour, something like that. That's what I do generally. Well, I've just started doing, and what I do, I've done it twice. I'm starting doing it, I'm starting doing it, and it's what I do.
Yeah. I love the way Giselle says that. She said, I get this thing where I'm, totally free of everything, but yet I can't say anything without somebody criticizing me. And I thought that was hilarious. She was you get this freedom in non-duality, and yet there seems to be this hardcore. There's so many different ways to look at it. Like, no matter what you say, somebody's going to come at you from another vantage point and try to, there's so many different.
But that's why I love to talk to people like you, because you truly are awake. There's no, there is no, because people enter non-duality and think they're awake. They're really not. They're completely asleep. Because if there is suffering, you're asleep. Or to some, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there can be physical pain. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
But
yes.
Of course. But that put aside, if there is suffering, you're just not done. You're just not done with suffering. You're just not. And there's so many people that just, because that's the thing. They think they know. That's what I always say. If you think you know, per definition, you don't know. You just think. It's thinking. And it's a very definition of arrogance, but not necessarily in a bad way. Hear me out here, but just thinking, and that's what's in the way. I don't know anything, and because I know it, of course I can say I know everything, but I don't. Who cares?
I have a very similar take on that. It's the moment you think you know something, you're stuck in duality, and but at the same time, that's just a funny thing to say. It's just, if you don't, if you think you don't know something, that's also duality. But I am very, if you think you're thinking, you're stuck in duality.
That's it.
Yeah. And then there's no way to get outside of thought as a self.
No.
So, so the individual cannot conceive of a lack of thought,
no.
because that's what the individual appears to be.
Yeah.
Thought, just like.
But then again, once you know that, you don't think of it anymore, so you're not stuck there anymore, and that's the whole. Does that make sense? It's a whole. You don't, because of course you always have thoughts, but the suffering thoughts can go away 100%. I mean, they have for me, and they have. I mean, they have for me. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, of course, sometimes I go back there sometimes for 15 seconds. You know what I mean? But it's even that is disappearing. Even that is disappearing. It's just.
Isn't thought? It's kind of for me is from this space. It's almost like thought cascades. It's not coming from a place. It just cascades. It drapes itself across the experience, and it's same with suffering. It's not that I am suffering. When suffering happens, I can see it. It kind of just draped across the experience, and you can. It's not even disassociation, but it's not a you suffering any longer. It just appears that way sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to though. How it really doesn't have to. Never.
Yeah.
Never. And that's the complete freedom in that way completely exists. It's not but you have to suffer first to know that you're not suffering. Like, it's the best way I can put it right now. It's you have to suffer for a while first to know not only that that you've never been, but that you won't anymore. It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong if I say it. It's if I have 3 cats. They're the apple of my eyes. They really are. If something happens to them, I'm not expecting not to cry. I'm not expecting not to be sad, of course. But so what? You hear what I'm saying? It's just, it's that, even that is beautiful.
Yes.
Because ultimately, there really is no death. You can, and once you're free from that, from thinking you die, you don't. You just don't. And that's the main truth of who you are. You just don't die. You won't die. You can't die. Your how did I say it earlier? Your computer with legs will die.
Yeah. What was it? I think J.K.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, he would always say the difference between us is that I don't care what happens, and I think. And what I think he meant by that was, he realizes it's not his suffering. It's not, I'm not an individual that suffers. And so it's just suffering appears to happen to the individual. And so he does, and I mean, that's the way I took it. I don't care what happens means that I no longer fear, suffering, no longer fear all of that thing. So, I mean, it's just, it's a beautiful thing, it's really beautiful what you're saying.
It's if you like, Howard, if you like, what we could do is I could, because you're saying something and I'm thinking, I think this is what my brain does. I think I could help you. It can sound arrogant, okay? I don't want to, but really, I'm not kidding. There really is no suffering, and I think I can help you with it. I'm just saying. And I'm not gonna ask you money. You're my buddy. It's just you know what I'm saying. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to step in here. I'm just throwing it like you do what you want with it. You do what you want with it. But I think I can.
You're saying so. What do you mean by that? What do you? There is no suffering.
I mean nothing else, but there is no suffering. That's the thing. I mean nothing else, but there is no suffering, and there is no. So there is So there is physical pain, sure, but even that physical pain is only what you think. How do you know if you don't notice? You don't. You never have. You never will. When you never have. No, if you think, that's the amazing. The power of the mind, there's nothing more powerful than this, and it's the beauty of life. Everything is your mind, arguably. You see what I'm saying? Everything is okay. Of course, you know what I'm saying. but it's the experience of suffering is created only by your mind. You can give you a concrete example. Okay, when I quit smoking, the first time it was horrible. And then when it was horrible for days, months actually, because then the second time it was when I was awake already. And I had one day of, my body wants this, my body wants that, and this, and then boom, gone. And that was it, and now at the moment I've been smoking for the last day or something just like that, the very idea of addiction is gone. So if I stop in 2 days, my body will feel what we may call withdrawal symptoms, but they're not withdrawal symptoms. They're withdrawal symptoms only if I think they are, and that's what I'm saying here. Your mind doesn't even have to notice this, or hardly so. It's just a sensation in your body, but whether it's good or bad, it's not. You can't know that. And that's, if you know that you can't know that, where's the suffering? Nowhere.
Yeah.
And there is no suffering, and that's what I mean. There is no suffering. There never has been.
There is no physicality in which to suffer. And it's like you said, the thought, the thought that there is a physical process that encapsulates the identity of a self, that you are a physical being suffering in a dimension, is not. It just appears to be that way, but it's not. And and I agree with you.
See that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. You see, it appears that way, but it doesn't even have to appear that way. It's again, that's what I'm saying. It's the whole power of it's just a thought. If you get that, if you truly get that, it's just a thought. It's gone. It doesn't. So if it's just a thought. A thought, you can't grasp a thought. You can't describe a thought. A thought is just a thought. You know what I'm saying? You can try and describe it, but you can't. And that's the whole thing. There really is no suffering. And for me, that realization was fucking everything. Because of course I never suffer. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think you're amazing. I love it. It's so difficult for me to say things like that sometimes to people, to the individual, but no, I completely agree with you. I don't think there is suffering either. I don't. I mean, it's just, it's so hard to articulate, but even pain for my story, the individual Howard, when I feel a lot of pain, it's the lack of a belief in a source, or a belief that I am thinking or I am experiencing this. I realize that is a complete illusion, and it dissipates. I mean, to move beyond that, that the excruciating sense of being human and having chronic pain, the pain almost helped me get past it. You see what I'm saying? The pain itself actually created a situation where I can move beyond subject object in that way. I am not an individual that is thinking and feeling this sensation. That is the story of the sensation of the individual. And I think I am. I understand what you mean. Yeah.
There really is nothing, but there's nothing at all. There's never, and it's the ultimate. Okay, look, but I think we get each other. It's good. It's fine. We get each other. I'm gonna have to go to the blue.
Yes, sir. I gotta go and do that meeting as well.
Okay. I'll be in touch on Messenger and talk very soon. I would love that. I would really love that.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Max. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, sir.
Likewise, Howard. It was amazing.
Beautiful discussion. Thank you.
Really. Thank you very much, Howard. Take care.
I'll talk to you soon, sir.
Talk to you. Bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Oh, that was amazing. Okay, so I go back and then stop here. That was an amazing. That was a great interview or discussion, I should say. That guy was amazing. Thanks, Max. And meeting for